Alrighty, everybody. The Over the Limit pay-per-view has just went off the air, and I'm just gonna give it to you straight. I thought the pay-per-view was okay to good. It definitely wasn't as good as Extreme Rules that we saw last month, but it still was a good show. I gotta say that for the most part, though, uh, most of these matches were just okay. Uh, I would have liked to have seen a little bit more effort out of some of these matches. And another thing, I mean, good God, the WWE added like 4 extra matches to this pay-per-view. So, when they do things like that, it's hard to really get behind any of those matches. But, let's talk about the pre-show. The pre-show match was ZACK, RYDER, and KANE. And just like I was predicting, KANE came out the victor in this match. It was an okay match, about 6 minutes long. KANE gets the win via the choke slam. And, it's about time they put these guys one-on-one because, man, their little feud happened like months ago. And here we are in mid-May, and they're just now wrestling one another. But, it was an okay match for the pre-show. So we get to the actual start of the pay-per-view, and at the end of the pre-show, they started announcing all these different wrestlers for the People Power Battle Royal. And the winner of the People Power Battle Royal gets their choice of either a U.S. title match or a Intercontinental match. So, the pay-per-view starts with this match already in progress, which is one of the redeeming factors of this pay-per-view. I love the fact that it started with a match already in progress. And, for the most part, it was a good battle royal. It lasted for about 13 minutes. And the final four ended up being Tyson Kidd, David Otunga, The Miz, and Christian. And Christian, of course, would go on to win the Battle Royal. And right after that, he immediately picked Santino Marella, the United States Champion, as the person he wanted to face. But later on, he would change his mind, and he would later on go up against Cody Rhodes for the IC title. But we'll get to that match in a moment. The next match, it was indeed the WWE Tag Team Championship match. Swagger and Ziggler trying to go after the gold, trying to win the gold against Kofi Kingston and R-Truth. This was a good little tag team match. Back and forth, near falls. It was a fun little match. I really enjoyed it. Kofi Kingston, he gets the win over Ziggler via the Trouble in Paradise. Kofi Kingston and R-Truth retained the tag team championships. And I gotta say, it was a good thing to see. Next, we saw the Divas title match. Beth Phoenix going up against LAYLA. I gotta say, it got a nice amount of time, but the first half of the match was just horrendous to watch. I couldn't believe what I was watching. It was like these guys, just could not get the chemistry going. It was like they were one step behind one another during this whole match, and it just never really got going, in my opinion. LAYLA does retain the title. She hits Beth Phoenix with a neck breaker and gets the 1-2-3. This was 8 minutes long, and like I said, the first 5 minutes was just god awful. But it slowly did pick up in the second half, but it really wasn't much to talk about. So we get to the World Heavyweight Championship match. It's being defended in a fatal 4-way match. Sheamus putting the title on the line against Alberto Del Rio, Chris Jericho, and Randy Orton. And I gotta say, this was the first great match of the night. It got a nice amount of time, 16 minutes. It was back and forth, near falls. It was just a great match to watch. And Sheamus, he hits the white noise on Chris Jericho to get to 1-2-3. And just like I thought, Sheamus was able to retain the gold and thus proving to everyone even more that he is a legit champion. And, you know, I think he's doing a pretty good job at it. But that was the match. I thought it was a pretty great match. So next we get to an impromptu match. The Miz. We get to see The Miz for the second time in a row. Or the second time that night, I should say. Because he was indeed in the Battle Royal. And now we're getting to see him in one-on-one action against none other than Brodus Clay. And this was nothing more than a basic squash match. Yes, The Miz got a little bit of offense, but for the most part, this was Brodus Clay all the way. Of course, it only got 4 minutes. It didn't really have much time to really get going, but Brodus Clay hits The Miz with a big splash and getting the 1-2-3. It was just one of those filler matches. So now we get to the Intercontinental Championship match. Christian won the Battle Royal, granting him the mid-card title of his choice. So he picks the U.S. title, then changes his mind after hearing Cody Rhodes talk trash about him. So then he turns his sights to the IC title and the IC champion Cody Rhodes. And they go one-on-one. And this was a good little match. It only got 8 minutes. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more from the match as far as time. But Cody Rhodes and Christian go one-on-one, and I thought it was a very entertaining match. You know, I'm a big Cody Rhodes fan, and I would have liked to have seen him retain the title. And don't get me wrong, I like Christian as well, but to me, Christian is already past the prime of his career. You know, he's already been there, done that. You know, what's the point of putting a title on him? All you're doing is taking the title away from a young up-and-coming wrestler like Cody Rhodes, a guy who actually deserves to hold that title more than Christian does. Now, I'm not taking anything away from Christian. He's had a stellar career, and he is a stellar athlete. It's just that he's moving more towards the twilight of his career, and he needs to be putting people over, not, you know, taking their gold away from them. But regardless, Christian, he wins the match. He hits the kill switch on Cody Rhodes, and he gets the IC title. So let's see what Christian can do with this title. You know, maybe Cody Rhodes and Christian will have a little bit of a feud. And yes, it does look like Christian is now a face once again. So I'm cool with that, because heel Christian just isn't very believable in my opinion. So it is good to see Christian as a face once again. And like I said, hopefully these guys can have a couple of matches at the next couple of pay-per-views. It might be interesting to see them go at it one more time. So next, we come to the WWE Championship match, and without question, the match of the night. This match was awesome, no question about it. You know, and I'm going to say this also. I'm sure these guys have had way better matches before, and this match that we just saw tonight was awesome as well. So, yeah, I mean, Punk and Daniel Bryan were just going toe to toe in this match. It was a pure wrestling match. And this match, the crowd finally decided to wake up, and they really got involved in this match. The crowd was going bonkers, which made the match that much better. But like I said, these guys were going back and forth, and CM Punk ends up retaining the title kind of in a controversial form, I guess. Daniel Bryan had Daniel Bryan had the yes lock on CM Punk. CM Punk's able to roll over, putting his shoulders on the mat, and the ref counted Daniel Bryan out, and right after the 3 count, CM Punk taps. So, of course, Daniel Bryan is thinking that he won the match, and of course CM Punk is thinking that he won the match, and of course the referee raised CM Punk's hand, thus giving him the win. And Daniel Bryan was pissed, man, but man, this was an awesome match. It was like 24 minutes long, and I can't wait to see these guys go at it again. I mean, I would definitely like to see these guys start feuding big time. I'd really like to see a storyline develop around these two guys, that's for sure. So next we get to another thrown together match. Camacho taking on Ryback. I mean, I can give you one guess as to who won this match. Of course, Ryback demolishes Camacho in 2 minutes. And yeah, I mean, everyone was chanting Goldberg the whole time during this match. And yeah, I definitely see how the WWE is kind of using the Goldberg formula with Ryback. And I think it's working. I love watching him. And even though this was a squash match on a pay-per-view, you know, I'm not going to lie, I did enjoy seeing him squash Camacho. It was very entertaining. But next up, we get to the main event. And I got to say, I understand this is the main event for what, for what was at stake. But let's be honest, this didn't really have to be the main event. They could have put this match, they could have had this as the 7th or 8th match instead of being the main event. It wasn't main event quality at all. And, John Laurinaitis, he is a former wrestler. But why on earth did he come out there and act like he never once stepped foot inside the squared circle? I mean, he goes in there and acts like he's never wrestled a day in his life. And the match was pretty much comical. I mean, it was kind of like a carnival show, to be quite honest. I just could not get behind the match. Not that it was even a match to begin with, because it really wasn't a match. It was just really something to laugh at. And I can't believe that it went as long as it did. I mean, it was 17 minutes of John Cena just humiliating John Laurinaitis. I mean, he was pouring water on him. They did commentating during the match. That was funny, but the ending of the match is what everyone was waiting for, and I knew something like this would happen. But I didn't think it would be the Big Show. And the Big Show comes out. John Laurinaitis, he runs off to the back. John Cena's in the ring like, what the fuck's going on? Where's Johnny Ace at? And all of a sudden you see the Big Show, carrying John Laurinaitis back to the ring. So that way he couldn't, quote unquote, get away from the match. So the Big Show carries John Laurinaitis all the way from the back, puts him back in the ring. He throws him towards John Cena. John Cena lifts up Johnny Ace to hit him with the AA. And right as he does that, the Big Show just hits John Cena with the weapon of mass destruction, knocking Cena out and enabling John Laurinaitis to get to 1, 2, 3. Thus keeping John Laurinaitis' job and, well, giving John Cena a loss. So I'm thinking this. I'm thinking that, of course, John Laurinaitis told the Big Show that if you help me in this match, I'm going to give you your job back. And I guarantee you tomorrow on Raw, all that will be revealed. But that was it. That was the main event. That was the last match of the night. And, it was a good little match. I just would have rather have seen Daniel Bryan and CM Punk close out this pay-per-view. Man, that would have been really awesome to close the show out. But regardless, we got what we got. And for the most part, it was a decent pay-per-view. It wasn't the best, that's for damn sure. But overall, somewhat enjoyable. So that's that. This is Gold Dizzy, of course. You can leave your thoughts about the pay-per-view in the comments below. What did you like? What did you dislike? Like I said, I'm Gold Dizzy. Peace out, everybody.